Hello y'all, how you doing? It is Valerie here and I garden in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains in Zone 6B. Today I'm going to be potting up some of these peppers and tomatillos I started. Now normally I would wait a little bit longer to plant these or to pot these up, but they're getting a little tall and they're touching my humidity dome, and I have other peppers that haven't germinated yet, so I want to leave them under the humidity dome a little bit. But sometimes if they touch the top of the humidity dome, the leaves will start to kind of rot because of all the moisture that's up there. So I'm just going to pot these up, and that way I'm able to put these back on the heat mat, the ones that aren't germinated yet. I'm going to give them another probably 2 weeks before I consider it a loss, maybe 3, because sometimes peppers, especially older seed, take a little while. And I probably won't give up on them completely, but I will assume at that point that they're probably not going to germinate. So let me go ahead and read off the varieties that I'm potting up. I've got the Chilhuacal Amarillo pepper. I've got the, CP257 variegated. I have the Thai red chili, the Hungarian Magyar. I've got ahi lemon drop, and I've got a shishito pepper. I'm also going to pot up this green tomatillo, these purple tomatillos, and this lemongrass. I've got several lemongrass up, and I'm not going to separate these out into individual pieces, but I'm going to take each cell and put them in a bigger pot, and then they can kind of grow together in their little cluster still. Oh, and my Zimbalo melon. And all the rest of them have not germinated. I don't know at this point if they will, but I guess I'm going to turn on some music and pot these up, and I will talk to you here in a moment when I go on to the next thing.
What? Yeah. 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 The words come so easy, but the flow is so greasy. Like a doll up, a daisy pack a wall up. You can't phase the amazingly brazen laser sharp ways. I lay these phrases, praising the 80s, explaining crazy cockamamie daydreams of being wasted, draped in lace. I tasted these Danish pastries. I may have been too hasty. Think somebody laced these. Sorry, I get spacey when I'm late, but make no mistake, I disintegrate hate for the sake of leaving great stories in my way.
Okay, I got all of them that were in this flat potted up, the ones that had germinated. I do want to tell you that all my soil is pre-moistened, so I didn't need to get it wet. I like to plant things with pre-moistened soil instead, as opposed to wetting it down after. I think that especially when you're transplanting little seedlings, it transplants better. I just topped off these last few cells because this flat's going back under my my lights, and it's going back on the heat pad, or the heat mat. But I am going to go ahead in these last 4 little cells here and plant some ground cherries. I'm probably not going to do that right now, but if you saw me putting more soil back in this one, it's because I do plan on at some point putting ground cherries in these. The next thing I'm going to plant up are these stalk, because they're just getting too tall for this little tray I've got them in. And when I planted them, I knew that would happen. I'm completely fine with that. I just wanted to use this because I like to mass sow to get them started. And then once I get them potted up, I've got my little label maker out here. I'll go through and make some labels for them, but I want to see how many I've got first, because I'm going to put them in 4-pack cells. These little 4-pack cells, and I will probably only make 1 tag per 4-pack. Let's see if I can find some more 4-packs. Some of these are not usable. Actually, I don't think I've got enough of those. All right, once again, I'm just going to sit here and pot things up. I've been using my little dibbler to get the plants out. And it's just a lot of monotonous stuff, so I'm going to turn my music back on. Oh, I don't know if I said this is the apple blossom stalk. I'm going to turn my music back on, and I'll talk to you when I'm done.
Successful.
There's a rain coming down in the valley. We're gonna wash in the river so deep.
Success is measured in hours like a power ballad on whiskey sours, dressed in flowers like Austin Powers. Wildflower child flossing while tossing coffee on top of my boss's Miata while he's watching. Tuck my thumbs in my cummerbund and hit him with the finger guns. Numb to a dumb bumbling son of a gun fronting in front of someone he's humping. Who's in charge when I'm barging in with the winning grin, tipping my back to him and dipping when the shit begins to hit the fan. No plan but to land on my feet and beat a hasty retreat, bobbing and weaving. I'm leaving conceited sheep.
I got 13 4-packs of those. So now I'm just going to take my app here and make some labels. That's 52 plants. 13 times 4 is 52. Because they're in 4-packs. Just pulling up my app from a little label maker. And turn it on. And gotta connect to it through my phone. And then it's saving right now. I like to save it in case I need to print more labels. Print label. I'm going to do 13. Because there's going to be one for each 4-pack. It's printing my labels for me. I find that so much easier than writing down each individual one. I'm just putting them on and setting them to the side. And then I'll stick them in the 4-pack cells whenever I get all of the stickers on. I did take a tag and I printed one up. And I stuck the whole thing down into a jar of water and left it there for like 2 weeks. And the sticker was still sticking. And since there's no ink, there was nothing to run. Which means, in theory, I should be able to stick these outside with no problem. As long as the adhesive continues to stick. And these aren't paper. They're kind of that, I don't know, I don't want to say plasticky feeling, but that's the only word I can think of to describe it. It's not like a paper feel. The next thing I have to pot up is Lisianthus. And they're still kind of tiny. But I was watching someone's video, and I'm sorry I can't remember who it was. But they showed that even though Lisianthus are tiny still, but the roots are probably really long. But I watched someone's video that showed the difference between leaving them in these small cells, even though they're tiny, and potting them up. And potted up into the bigger pots, they grew significantly faster than if you just left them in these little cells until they got bigger. So I'm going to count them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on, let me start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I've got 17 of these that have germinated and are still alive. And some of them are tinier than others. So I'm going to go ahead and pot these up into 4-inch pots. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn my music back on and start potting these up, or fill these with soil so I can pot them up.
Beneath the grief of being defeated. But if these wide mouths talk, sharp sidewalks will wind up defined in chalk outlines of the whining spineless mimes that pantomime like they grimy. The wet silhouette of those who oppose the flows I chose. I bulldoze through the rows of roses at the funerals. Hit stop to drop off the bodies and top off the coffins. Then I pop off again to La La Land. Ta-ta man, never mind. Let's rewind time and climb vines.
Okay, there was one extra Lisianthus than what I thought, and I'm not going to make tags for all of these because all my Lisianthus, because I've only got one type and it's a mix, and so I just stuck the tag in. Also, Lisianthus are very distinct looking, so I'll be able to tell what they are. I've grown them long enough. Plus, I'm just being lazy, to be honest. This is the time of year where it's going to be a lot of this kind of thing where I'm just up potting and planting and, you know, getting everything started for my growing season. And I like to hang out with you while I do it. It makes it so much more interesting and so much less boring. I just put on some music, I talk to the camera, and I'm on my way. And it just makes it way more enjoyable getting to hang out with you while I do it. All right, now that I'm done, I need to take all of these plants and take them back into my house and put them back under my lights because it's not quite time for me to turn on the heat in my greenhouse. I will say that I will probably do that at the end of next week or the week after that sometime. It's soon. Soon I'll be like starting to move most of my stuff out here. I'll probably leave my peppers in the house, but like the stalk and the Lisianthus and my snapdragons and that kind of stuff, that'll be coming out here. And before I know it, it's going to be time to start my tomatoes. When the world seems crazy, I just like to come out here and either sit in my garden or come to my greenhouse, and I'll look around and I realize everything that's on the internet isn't real. And everything that surrounds me right now, right here is. And it just gives me an overwhelming sense of peace. And what more can you ask for, really? All right, I know that was a big old ramble. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I truly do appreciate it. I will see you next time. Bye. Muddy hands.